All right, thank you everyone for coming to LED's 5th Pro Workshop webinar. We're so excited you're here and thank you for taking the time. My name is Rebecca Healy. I'm the Sales and Marketing Coordinator. I was just talking to Caitlin Smith. She's our Sales and Product Trainer. And then Sean Flayhaven is one of our product managers. The LED Carry Zoom room is John Frederickson. He's the Director of Brand Marketing. And Richard Campbell down at the, I shouldn't say at the bottom, included, that is our VP of Engineering and Quality. Richard and Sean are going to be our presenters today. We're going to be going over the new high bay retrofits with occupancy sensors and then our new solar wall pack. After the webinar, we're going to go ahead and have a quiz. We're going to test your knowledge, give you a couple minutes to do that. If you receive a 90% or better, we're going to go ahead and enter you into a drawing to receive a $250 gift card. And we're going to be giving 2 of those away. And then we're also giving away 20 LED polos. So you can I see on everyone's screen how awesome they are. If you can see, you have got to get one. Like, this is part of like the in-group. So I know you're going to get 90% or better. And then also if you're in a group setting like Rexel right now, I want you guys to grab your cell phones. Your little sparkly cell phones, no. But I want you to make sure you log in so you can take that quiz and be entered into that drawing. If you have any questions during the webinar, use the chat function. Caitlin and I will do our best to answer those. And at the end, our Richard and Sean will help answer some questions in the Q&A if Caitlin and I can't answer those. I think we're ready to go. I'll go ahead and share my screen. PowerPoint. All right, so again, thanks for coming to the Pro Workshop. Why do we have these every month? Well, it's to update you on both the lighting industry and then on our company as well, to introduce you to cool new products and let you know if there's anything new with our existing product, to leave you with a case study, and then to test your knowledge with that quiz at the end. And then if you have any questions, Richard and Sean will go ahead and answer those at the end. So I'm going to hand it over to John Frederickson. John Frederickson, again, is the Director of Brand Marketing, and he's just been really great. I'm so glad he works with us. It's great to report to him every day. So John, go ahead and take it over.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. It's nice to virtually meet all of you today. Happy Monday. And as Rebecca said, my name is John Frederickson. I've been in the marketing department here at Light Efficient Design. I just started my 7th year. So just to go back a little history, when I started, I was the 5th or 6th employee, if you want to count us. And now I think we're at almost 55. So quite a growth experience since I've been here. As you can see on the presentation, those are my 2 sons, Carter, who's 12, and Riley, who's 13. And then I have a cute little puppy, a golden retriever named Fiona. So those 3 keep me quite busy. Little bit about me, I coach both my boys in indoor soccer, and I got my one son, Riley, plays travel baseball, and Carter plays travel soccer. So always running around with those kids, and usually have the dog in tow as well. So here at Light Efficient Design specifically, I oversee pretty much all of the creative marketing. I have 2 people on my team that report to me, Rebecca, who was just talking, who's here in the Cary office, Cary, Illinois with me, and then Amy George, who is our creative director. She's out of our Middleton office. And so yeah, the creative, so catalogs, brochures, packaging, trade shows, and what we're gonna talk about next is the biggest show in our industry, which is Light Fair. So this time of year is a super busy time getting prepared for Light Fair, actually the last month or so. So figure the 2 months leading up to Light Fair, that's taking up about 75% of my time just getting ready for that show. So Rebecca, you can go ahead to the next slide when you get a chance. And we're going to talk about Light Fair in particular, just to give you a snapshot. So this year we're back in Philadelphia. This will be the 3rd time in my tenure that we'll be having Light Fair in Philly, and it's a great city to visit. It's the convention center is right downtown, so it makes it pretty convenient. But going back in time, when I first started, we just had a little 10 by 10 booth, which is a typical tabletop show size, way back in the corner. We then upgraded to a 10 by 20 where we introduced some cabinetry where we used to show off our residential style lamps. Obviously, we've moved away from that. When we got into the screw-in retrofits for HID, we went ahead and bought a 20 by 20 booth, which we used for 3 years. And then last year, this year, and next year, we have a new 20 by 30 booth, which, you know, as we've kind of grown and we've acquired Remfoss, we've needed to have a lot more space to show off all the different varieties of product that we have. So please come visit us this year if you can, out in Philadelphia, booth 3909. It's just a great chance to get together to connect and to educate and to collaborate. We're going to have a little get together on the first night of the show. It's the Tuesday night to celebrate. So please, if you have the means and you have the ability to come to Light Fair, it's just something to see. If you've never been there before, it's a massive show and really a fun show to walk around and learn and get to know more about lighting in general. So next, we're going to go through a quick YouTube video that was taken at last year's show, showing off our new booth, and I'll just kind of talk over it and point out a few key features. Thank you, Rebecca. So we'll start out, we're kind of approaching the booth from the back side here. So that's a little storage closet we have, but you'll notice that it's an island booth. So that's critical so that you can have access from all angles. We wanted to make sure that it was open and allowed people to access it from every side, and then people could flow through the booth without stepping on each other's toes or bumping into each other. So the thing that I really like about this space, and it was one of the key elements when we designed it with the display house, was that each product subcategory, if you will, gets its own little display wall or display area. And it really helps when you're bringing through multiple groups of customers or end users, that I could be on one side, for example, talking about these shoebox and wall pack retrofits, and not interfere with someone who's around the other side talking about the post top retrofits, for example, or the bollard retrofits. So as you can see, they're kind of walking around here. We experience a ton of traffic at Light Fair, so again, it's key to be able to do multiple presentations at a time. You'll see in a second here, we have a little table area where you can kind of gather around, have small meetings. We also keep some of our newest prototypes there. This year at Light Fair, you can count on seeing some of our brand new products, like we're going to have 6 or 7 brand new solar products. We're going to have our LBI linear bar kit retrofit and linear bar fixture. We are going to be showing off our new motion sensed high bays, which Richard's going to talk about in a second in depth. Our motion sensed shoebox retrofit, our new socks lamps retrofits. So these have been really popular out on the West Coast. If anybody's tuning in from out in the California area, Hawaii, I think we've sold quite a few. You can see too, we've gone ahead and retrofitted some example fixtures, like it just scanned up to a post top retrofit with one of our screw ends there, bollard fixture with one of our retrofits in it. Each wall has some key signage that's backlit that kind of talks to, if there happens to be nobody there that can speak to someone specifically, the people could go ahead and read that signage and get a nice overview of what that product category is about. Hopefully this isn't moving too fast. Nobody's getting dizzy. Here's our fixture wall, and this is going to be completely different this year. We've got a new high temperature high bay that's going to be hanging there. So I was just working on the display with the display people on how to mount that. And kind of around the back wall again, this is where we started. There's our work lights that have been wildly popular, and our Class 1 Div 2 retrofits, which are really picking up steam here in the last couple months. And then here's a closer look at our kind of meeting table. We've got some samples there that were prototypes last year that will now be on the the display walls this year. So kind of a cool little video. Hopefully you guys get a good snapshot of it. Hopefully you'll get a chance. You can come out visit us. Most of the people you see in the booth right now, this is pre-show hours, so they're all our employees pretty much. I do see a couple customers there, but if you recognize a lot of these people as being, hey, these are all Light Efficient Design employees, it's because it was right before the show started on the first day when this video was taken. So, and then of course the overhead sign with our branding. So just a quick snapshot of it. Hopefully piqued your interest and you can come see us. And now I'm going to hand it off to Richard Campbell, our Vice President of Engineering and Quality. He's going to talk to you about our new high bay screw-in retrofit with motion sensing capabilities. So, Rebecca, if you want to pass it back to Richard.
All right, thanks, John. I'm going to bring up my presentation here. All right, so I'm going to start off with the product update. So my name is Richard Campbell, and I'll be talking about the screw-in retrofit. Our newest release here will be our 8130 OCC, or our high bay retrofit with an occupancy sensor. And then after me, Sean Flayhaven will be up to talk about the solar wall pack. So I'm going to concentrate on our new high bay retrofit lamp with the occupancy sensor. And who am I? So just a little bit of my background. You can see my family there. I was just recently up at my son's senior project. So he had a good presentation there, so I was able to enjoy that with the rest of my kids. I got 4 kids there on the right, as you can see. I am the VP of Engineering and Quality for Light Efficient Design. I've been with Light Efficient Design for a little bit over 3 years now. Before working here in the Cary office, I was with Grainger for 14 years. I was their senior engineering manager, and I had responsibility for all of their private label products. That was about $1 billion in sales that I had responsibility for, both product management and quality. So I've been well versed in a lot of those products we had under the LumaPro brand in the lighting category. My favorite sport, just like John's, is soccer. I played all the way up through college. And my favorite food is deep dish pizza. So I know there's some thin crust people out there, but nothing beats a good slice of pie. And then the college that I played soccer at, one of the random facts I can tell you about, it was an all guys school. So that would normally be kind of a bad situation, but luckily for me, there were 2 other colleges in town. One was an all girls school, and then the largest school in our town, Indiana State, the house that Larry Bird built, was actually 60% female. So there was plenty of fun to be had by all. So I'm here to talk about the high bay retrofit lamps, and specifically, well, you can see our history right now of our new products. So we've already launched our new open high bay rated products. We got 3 different products now with 3 different wattages, 2 of them with only downlight and 1 with uplight. That's our 8130, replacing from 250 to 400 watts. Next, we're going to be launching in the next month our enclosed rated high bay retrofit lamps. And again, we have 3 different wattages. And the new and exciting one on the very right there is actually our 8242. It's going to be able to replace up to 1,000 watt, either a metal halide or a high pressure sodium. And it's going to be, it has its own internal driver. Our current product, the 8050, has an external driver. So our new product's going to be internally driven. So that's going to be a first in the marketplace to have that capability of replacing 1,000 watts and have an internal driver. But the product we're here to talk about today is also a first to market, is our 8130, our high bay retrofit lamp with an occupancy sensor. So it's used to replace up to 400 watts, and it's a really great new product that I want to talk to you about today. So what is unique about this product? Well, it has the same features as our standard 8130. It replaces up to 400 watts. It has no fan, so it's actively cooled by just having the airflow over it. That there's no fan inside of this thing, so it's very quiet. But the disadvantage of that, it has to be used only in open fixtures. So make sure that's the application this is used in. It has an upgraded surge protection of 6 kiloamps. So this is mostly used indoors, so that should be plenty of surge protection, even in buildings that have some stronger HVAC or machinery in them. And it comes with a safety tether to make sure that in that open fixture you never have any safety concerns whatsoever. And then I'm going to talk now about 3 features that are completely unique to this product and make it different than our standard product. The first one being that it comes with a microwave sensor. So if you look at that picture of that lamp, there you see like a circuit board looking device in the center. That is a motion sensor that uses microwaves. So that is what this product has that our normal product does not have, and that senses motion, and so that'll activate full brightness. It comes with a remote control, so I'll talk a little bit further about what those features are, but it comes with a remote control that allows you to adjust 3 things. So that's another thing that this product has that the standard product does not have. And then finally, this one has higher energy savings potential. So anytime you upgrade from standard HID to LED, you are going to be reducing your wattage pull, and so you're going to get a lot of energy savings. So when you go from 400 down to 150 watts, you have a lot of energy savings. But the occupancy sensor allows this lamp to dim when nobody's around, so you're going to have even higher energy savings potential by using a product with a sensor. A little bit more about the sensor itself. You can see a picture of that up in the upper left-hand corner there, and then you can see the range of the sensor there in that picture below. The product is designed to mount in mounting heights from anywhere from 6 to 26 feet. So that should take care of most high bay applications. You can mount it a little bit higher. The only concern when you start going higher than 26 feet is just the ability for the sensor to sense you, obviously. It has 360-degree sensing capability, so when it hangs from the ceiling, it goes in all directions. It has about a 16-foot detection range, so from the center point to the side, when it's hanging at 26 feet, it's going to sense you all the way from 16 feet away. If you hang the product a little bit lower, the detection range will come down in a proportional manner. One of the things you have to keep in mind with this type of product is the sensor will be affected if you use an aluminum reflector. So in some high bay applications, you have that. So if this lamp is in a big aluminum dome, that will affect the ability of the sensor to see you in some instances. And we do not recommend this product for outdoor applications because a microwave sensor is one of the most sensitive types of sensors you can have. If you put it outside, it is possible you'll get nuisance tripping by leaves blowing or rain or things like that. So it's really for indoor only. And this temperature range is just a little bit less than our standard lamp. So our standard lamps can go down to -40 F. This one only goes just a little bit low, down to -4 F. And the reason for that is just because it has to have the ability to send and receive microwave signals. The product does come with a remote, and there's 3 functions that you can control with the remote. One is being the dimming level. So when you receive the product out of the box, it comes with a standard 20% dim level. So the product will normally, when it's installed, if you do not use the remote at all, it'll operate with a 5-minute delay and at 20%. So the dim level will be coming at a 20% level. If you want to have it go to a higher dim level, like at 50%, you can change that. Or if you want to have it go down to almost dimming to off, you press a 0. It won't go all the way quite down to 0, but it comes very, very close. You can also adjust the hold time. It comes with a 5-minute hold time from the factory, but you can adjust that to a shorter hold time if you'd like. If you want to have the ability to shut that light off quicker, so you can go from anywhere from 30 seconds up to 2 minutes. And then the third thing you can adjust is that sensitivity. So right now, it's going to come from the factory at maximum sensitivity 100%, but you can change that by pressing the minus button, and it's going to change it down by about 25%. So you press that down 4 times, that'll dim it down, or put the sensitivity down to the lowest level it's going to have. So just keep in mind, this is a great new product that we're selling. It has a lot of great applications. The only caution I'm going to tell you is that every lamp has its own sensor, so it's not like a block of lamps is on a sensor. So in some applications, if you have a large open space and you install this lamp, you want to make sure that people understand that you could have lights at different levels depending if they sense motion or not. So that's not always going to be your greatest application. You just have to make sure the customer understands that. So now I'm going to go ahead and hand that off to Sean to talk about our solar wall packs.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Sean Flayhaven. I'm going to put this in presenter mode, and we are going to start away here. So I've been here for about almost 4 years now. Right now, I'm a solar product manager. Started out here as just a product manager. So kind of developed my way towards solar in the last few months. Based out of Cary, grew up in Arlington Heights, Illinois my entire life. I'm a former student of Illinois State University, so went there a little undecided on what I wanted to do. Over the course of those first 2 years, decided that renewable energy was something that I wanted to pursue. I was one of the very few schools to offer it, so I took a chance and I graduated with a renewable energy degree. So that was very exciting, and I got a minor in sustainable energy. Some of my favorite sports growing up were soccer and lacrosse. Played soccer my whole life, got into lacrosse a little bit later in the game, but definitely my 2 favorite sports, hands down. My favorite place I traveled was Hawaii, although I did that about 10 years ago. A random fact, I can solve a Rubik's Cube. I can do it with my eyes closed. It's pretty much just remembering algorithms, so it's not the toughest thing in the world. It's just a puzzle at the end of the day. All right, so moving on to the two products I want to talk to you about today. So we have a 7-watt that's in stock and a 15-watt that's in stock of a solar wall pack. It's all in one. It's a beautiful design. It's made of aluminum. The first product, the 7-watt, is 700 lumens, and then the 15-watter is 1500 lumens. So we're getting about 100 lumens per watt. And then next, we're going to go through some of the features of the product. So both products share the same features. It's just one is about 3 inches bigger length and width-wise than the other. So like I said earlier, it's an all-in-one design. The solar panel, the battery, and the light. It's all there together in one simple, easy-to-use package. We got a long-life battery installed inside this. So one full charge will last 3 nights. And then the type of battery in there is new as well. So compared to just a lithium-ion battery, which would have about 1,500 cycles, we're using an advanced new lithium iron phosphate battery that has at least 2,000 charge cycles. And then also the battery temperature rating for this product is 32 degrees to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, but the actual fixture operating temperature that it will actually shine light at is 5 degrees to 113 degrees. So the battery will charge 32 degrees to 113 degrees. The light will operate 5 degrees to 113 degrees. It has a PIR sensor, and it also has a remote control. So I'll go over those two things, the PIR sensor and the remote control, on another slide. It also has the adjustable solar panel, and this is something that I'll also get into more in depth to at a later slide as well. And then lastly, I wanted to mention the easeability of the bracket. So it's super easy to mount. The bracket comes like this attached to it. You unmount the little screw here on the side, which is also an anti-theft screw lock. And then you mount your bracket, you slide this over the bracket, and then you lock your anti-theft screw, and you're good to go. All right, so let's get into the remote and a little bit of how the modes operate. So the remote's very simple. There's 3 different buttons that you're only gonna really need to know. And then, so what I'm gonna do is go in depth on some of these operating modes and try to help you differentiate why you'd use one maybe over the other. So let's start out with the first one. So the first one, what it does is it disables that motion sensor for the first 5 hours. And then the primary module will stay lit at 50%. Once it gets to less than 30% of its battery capacity or has hit 5 hours, it then switches to that last mode that's up on your board, mode 3, which means the primary LED module will only turn on when that motion sensor senses motion. Then after 20 seconds, it turns off completely. So that's how your first operating mode would work. So the first operating mode is its own mode with an additional 3rd mode added to it. The second mode is the secondary LED module is always on, but when that motion sensor senses motion, then that supplementary LED will turn off and the main light will turn on. So I can kind of show you guys here on my screen. There's some supplemental LEDs down here, which are about 5% of the total lumens of the product. So on that second mode, this is what's active, just this piece right here. And then this piece would turn off when it senses motion. The main portion turns on. When there's no more motion anymore, this turns off that main portion and the secondary portion comes on. And then also the 3rd mode, if you'd like to set it to this, it will only turn on when it senses motion. The sensor has a range of 24 feet, and that's pretty much it on the motion settings. So yeah, just 3 easy to use motion settings. I would recommend using the first one, which is a combination of 1 and 3. Although if you want to be more energy conservative, you could just go with the 3rd setting there and just only have it turn on when it senses motion. All right, so moving on to the application and installation. So since we can adjust this solar panel, we can optimize its solar irradiance. So depending on where you live in the world, you're going to want to tilt this at a certain angle. South-facing installations are most ideal. I wouldn't recommend installing this on the north-facing wall just because it will not receive that much sunlight in North America. If you were in Australia, it'd be completely opposite. But we're talking about here right now. If you're in Chicago, we have a latitude of around 41 degrees. So you would want to put this angle in position 4. If you live in California and you're at a 26-degree latitude, you're going to want to put that in position 2 or 3. So that's a little bit in more depth on the instruction sheets, but that's something that we've thought about, and also we have in our solar guidelines brochure that we started to put in all of our products. And we've basically just been incorporating this into all our designs and just trying to, explain to the customer that the angle of the panel really does matter. You don't really want to ever have this thing mounted completely horizontal like this, just because snow and debris will build up on it. So having any type of angle usually helps. And, that's just something that we're really trying to do and educate our customers on, because it is important. And with this product, it really gives you a lot of ability to be able to control that. So the main application for this 7-watt and 15-watt wall pack would be, an outdoor commercial building. Anywhere where it can receive sunlight up against a wall, about 10 to 25 feet mounting height for either. So wherever you guys think you can use this, I think it would really be a great product to put there if you need any type of lighting on a wall space outdoors. And that is all I have, at least for my slides. John, if you'd like to take the hot seat again, thank you all for your time.
Thanks, thanks, Sean. And thank you, Richard, both of you guys, for those product updates. And those are just a couple of the new products we'll be showing, like I mentioned, at Light Fair, and that we're rolling out, most of which are in stock now. But make sure you tune into these each month too, because we'll highlight a different new product. So just going to run through a quick case study. So it always kind of helps to put pictures to the words and to kind of see real world one of our products in action. This one comes to us from Gene Cullen, former regional manager, now national account manager down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And like most downtowns, they had decorative post tops, and the fixtures had a particular look that they wanted to keep, and so they did not want to change that look. And but they were inefficient, so they wanted to go ahead and upgrade to LED. So down in Baton Rouge, they had 175 watt HID and 250 watt HID lamps mounted anywhere between 25 and 30 feet. And it was a busy area. So these downtown streets, ton of foot traffic, a lot of tourists, a lot of automobile traffic. So they want lumens on the ground. They don't want lumens spread side to side out of that fixture. So in came Ricky from Notico down there, and Notico has been a good partner of ours for many, many years, quite a sizable customer. And he knew about our new high performance post tops. So we're calling these, and you can see them there, the ones that are shaped differently than traditional, what the industry calls corn cob lights or corn lights. You can see visually how they're different, and I'll talk about that in a second. But he found out, he knew we had these coming out, and so he went to the city of Baton Rouge and said, listen, this is what you need. So we always recommend test our products, test it in the real world, test it before you buy a bunch of them, because we want to make sure it's the right wattage and right lamp for the application. So the city of Baton Rouge, the facility people down there went ahead and did a self-test. So they took their fixtures down, they retrofitted them, they set them up side by side. They put our new 8146, one of our 3 different high performance post tops, up against 3 competitive corn lamps. So the more traditional style that the rest of the industry has, with just the LEDs on the side and on the top that shine out and up. And basically the comment was, it was a no-brainer. Our delivered lumens blew away the competition. So these high performance post tops, The way they do that is, you can see in the picture, the chips are angled. The panels that the chips are mounted to are angled out and down instead of just straight up and down vertically. They have a tilt to them, so they're going to push those lights. You know, LED chips are very directional, so wherever you point them, that light's going to go. So we're actually pointing the chips out and down to get light down out of that fixture towards the ground. The second thing we've done is we've elevated the chips inside of there. So this one's a little harder to see when you see one in person. If you can get your hands on a sample, the chips don't go all the way to the bottom. They're actually elevated in there. So if you picture a lot of these fixtures that it's going to go into, you know, there could be a sizable bottom or a coupling down there. So you want to get the chips up and away from there so they have a chance, all the chips have a chance to get out of the fixture and the light can escape the fixture. The third thing is this also helps facilitate dark sky compliance, because this one does have a cap on the top. So you're not pushing lumens up into the sky, so it helps facilitate it in its design. So again, the key feature, the key differentiating feature of these high performance post tops is those angled panels. Makes all the difference in the world. Again, the city of Baton Rouge, we're like, you know what, this isn't even a competition. You know, this test is over and they're gonna go ahead and roll out, I think, you know, 230, that'll cover a few busy blocks in downtown Baton Rouge. So the angled panels just make all the difference in the world. So test out our high performance post tops, check them out, especially if you're in these decorative type fixtures in a base down application. These are gonna put lumens on the ground where they're needed most. And then thank you, Rebecca. Just a couple other photos at night. You can see a few of the fixtures that have been retrofitted, and just tremendous light output. And yeah, just a true success story. It seems pretty basic, but the shape makes all the difference. So try out our high performance post tops in the next projects that come your way. And now I'm gonna pass it to Caitlin, and she's gonna facilitate the quiz. Make sure if you guys have questions though, keep them coming, and then when the quiz is over, we're going to have a little Q&A section. So please feel free to ask any questions while we have, especially our product experts here. So Caitlin, go ahead and explain what we do next.
All right, now we're going to go to the Q&A. So if anybody has questions, feel free to go ahead and post them in the bottom in the Q&A section. So I know we already have a couple. Ryan asked, are there plans for the panel box and fixture separately? I think he's talking about on the solar to have the panel and then the fixture separate.
Yes, we're already working on a solution, so stay tuned. But we are working on a solution for that right now.
Perfect. And then in the Q&A, Mark is asking, on the new post top, will you be offering other wattages and lumen levels?
On the new post top?
Yeah, the high performance post tops come in 3 different wattages. The one that Baton Rouge used particularly was the highest wattage, the 65 watt. And then we have 2 below that.
Awesome. William, are the high bay lamps DLC and are they premium?
Our current high bay lamps are DLC. They are not DLC premium. They're just standard DLC. And the lamp with the occupancy sensor, that's at DLC for being on the qualified product list now. So that's going through that process right now.
Cool. Thank you. All right, anybody else with some questions on these? We've still got a bunch of people on here. Post top, DLC.
Yes, the post top is on the DLC qualified product list.
Awesome. Come on, guys. I know we did a great job with this, but you got to have some questions. Here we go. Bob, how is charging affected for the solar light once the temperature falls below 32 degrees for more than 3 days?
All right, so in a situation like that where it isn't able to receive enough charge, then the light will just not turn on in that instance. So if you're looking for something where you need, let's say, security lighting, and you need that lighting there consistently, solar may not be the best option. But what I can say is that most days, You are going to get enough charge, but obviously it depends on where you live and the weather. So location, weather, all those things kind of attribute to how that product will operate for you.
Awesome. And Jerry's wondering, how do we get the most current DLC listing of the products?
So the DLC maintains a website, designlights.org, where you can get that, or you can contact your regional sales manager and they should be able to provide that to you as well. We normally download that on a monthly basis and provide that to our sales team.
Thank you. Nina's wondering, when in May will the 1,000 watt equivalent retrofit be available, and will that be DLC?
So it's on its way to our warehouse right now. It's still a few weeks away. So it's on its way, and we are submitting that to the DLC. It's not on the list yet, but it will be by the end of May.
And Paul is asking, are there any plans to offer a 100 watt version of the Performance Post Top?
Today we are stopping at the 65 watts. We found that that is where most of our applications are going to be, in that 65 watt or less. So that's our plans today. If you have intelligence that there's a large demand for a 100 watt version of that, I would encourage you to talk to your regional manager about that, and we could possibly add that to our product development list.
Thanks. And Mark is asking, is there an additional rebate available since the new high bay is sensor controlled? Some utilities offer additional sensor rebates.
So every utility chooses to rebate every product differently. The DLC provides a qualified product list, but each utility can rebate products how they seem fit to do it, both at the dollar value and at what features they will or will not add additional rebates. You really need to check with your individual utility about that. Again, our regional managers have information on actually the entire utilities that report up through the DLC what rebates are available, so they can help you with some of that.
Okay, Trent's asking, once the battery goes out in the solar fixture, will the customer have to replace the fixture, or will you guys supply a SKU for replacing battery?
So we will provide a SKU, or we will provide a replacement battery that can be bought in situations like that. So, if it's within that 3-year warranty, we'll replace that battery. If it's outside the 3-year warranty, we can tell you what battery to pick that will replace the battery that was currently in there.
Awesome. And then someone is asking, do we have a rebate finder on our website? Do you guys want to tell them about that? We do.
Yeah, I was going to add, we do have a rebate finder. If you go under resources, so led-llc.com, resources, then there is a rebate finder. So it's kind of an outsourced thing that we put on there that takes all those different utilities that Richard mentioned and searches all of them. So definitely reference that for a particular area. So
awesome. Thank you. And if you ever have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help you work through that. Do we plan to have perhaps hybrid solar for our areas that need 365 days of light? Sean, you want to talk about that?
Yes, and if you are attending Light Fair, you'll be able to see a prototype of a product that we're working on. Yes, that will be hybrid, so have the ability to connect to the grid and then also have the off-grid functionality as well. So yes, we're working on it, and hopefully we can see you at Light Fair and you can come check it out. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Awesome. Anyone else? Any other questions? We've been having a lot of really good questions this time. Might have answered everything. We still have a bunch of people on. No more questions while you've got all of our experts in one room. All right, guys, that might be it. Well, if anybody does think of anything, definitely feel free to email us. My email and Rebecca's is right on that screen that Rebecca's sharing there. And if you had any issues with the quiz, feel free to email me. I will send you a copy so that you can resubmit it. I know some people might have had a few issues with the pop-up. So just send me an email or give me a call and let me know. And we really appreciate your time. It's great that you guys take your time, you know, an hour out of your day to learn and to hang out with us. So we do really appreciate it. And we hope that you guys learned a lot on this webinar. So, and thank you to our panelists. You guys did a great job presenting and gave all the information. We got a lot of high scores on the quiz, so that means you guys did a good job.
Thanks, Caitlin. Everybody have a great week out there.
You too. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.